News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
We're back on the Chad Hasty Show, live from the Federation for American Immigration Reform 13th Annual Hold Their Feet to the Fire Radio Row. And joining me here in D.C. right now, it's the Deputy Assistant to the President, Deputy Director of Communications, Adam Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about what the administration has done as far as illegal immigration goes. And obviously, you're still in a battle because the president is still trying to get things done, even while Congress likes to focus on anything but illegal immigration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what the president has done is he's essentially said, we're going to treat this like a crisis. We're going to treat this like an emergency. And that means treating it the whole problem. That means that the countries of origin, the countries along the route, right at our border, and interior enforcement as well. And if Congress isn't going to step up to help us, we're going to find other ways to make sure we continue to gain victories.
Well, and the president just, last week, went down to the border and signed part of the border wall that had been installed. Talk about that process and because it doesn't make the news unless the president really either brings it up himself or flies down to the border. But you have border security going up in different places.
100%. What we've seen is, as Congress has refused to provide the resources necessary, the president's been able to find the resources that we need so that we continue to build the wall. And in fact, we're going to get about 500 miles of wall before the end of 2020. We're going to be at a pace of about 4 miles a week in the fall, and it's going to increase from there. That's going to be a starting point. So I think what we've really seen is the president has said, you know what, if Congress is going to give us the resources, let's break right through that and continue to fulfill my promise to the American people.
Where are we seeing the wall go up right now?
Right now, it's the highest trafficked, most priority areas. Again, we want to build a complete wall, but it's about tackling the areas that have the highest traffic first. So whether that's in California, whether that's in Arizona, New Mexico, whether that's in some parts of Texas, it's let's stop them where it's easiest to get across, and then we'll go into the more difficult areas as we get there.
So what more needs to, I guess, be done by either states or local, to get that wall? Because right now, let's be honest, Congress, and they're not going to move on anything right now. They're busy. They're distracted with some other things. So how can the president continue to get that wall built, even without the help of Congress?
Well, what we've seen is he's been able to find resources, whether it's with asset forfeiture in the Treasury Department, whether it's with some building funds in DOD, to continue to get money so that we're going to fulfill his promise. And we're going to continue to look at ways to do that. We're not going to let Congress stop us. You brought up state and local governments. I think one thing they can do is they can help with kind of that last part of dealing with illegal immigration and this huge surge, which is the interior enforcement part. And I think what we really need to do is for them to end these sanctuary city policies that not only endanger their communities, but endanger law enforcement who are out there enforcing laws passed by Congress. The President Trump did not pass these laws. Congress did. We're enforcing them. He's doing his job. And when you pass a sanctuary city law, what you're essentially saying is we're going to put the lives of our law enforcement officers behind our political priorities, and that's just not acceptable.
Visiting with Adam Kennedy here on the Chad Hasty Show. I've got to ask you about the news that's been made the last couple of days. We had Congressman Jody Arrington on the program earlier, who said this is nothing. This is this whole Ukrainian. This is nothing. There's nothing there. What is your message to, and the White House's message out to the constituents, out to Republican voters about what the Democrats are trying to do here?
So when we first saw the kind of Ukraine story broke, we immediately knew that this was going to be filled with outlandish lies and misinterpretations and rumors and everything else. The same thing that happened with the Mueller report. And what we saw with the Mueller report is once the report actually came out and people were able to see it, poof, there goes all these calls for the president to step down. There goes everything else under the sun because they realized that there was nothing actually there. Same thing with the transcript, but the president took an unusual and exceptional, an almost unprecedented step of releasing the transcript for one reason only, is that was for the American people to see for themselves what all of this is about.
And he did it quickly.
And he did it.
He did it quickly.
And what is it about? It's about 5 pages of the president congratulating the president of Ukraine, looking in or talking about foreign aid and how other countries need to be also helping Ukraine, and talking about the election interference in 2016. I remember the Democrats were concerned about election interference in 2016. That seems to have gone out the window now that the president is.
Yeah, well, and does this, again, we talk about illegal immigration. The president has so many different things that he's trying to do. I know does he get distracted by this type of
Never.
stuff, or is it just Congress that gets distracted?
It's just the Democrats in Congress. It's not even a distraction for them, it's an obsession. It's something they've been obsessed about since the president was elected, even before he was inaugurated, and they continue to be obsessed by it. But the facts aren't on their side. Reality is not on their side. And meanwhile, while they're doing that, the president is racking up wins across the board.
As the president goes out and continues to campaign and looks forward towards 2020, what is his, I guess, maybe top one, top two, top three goals when it comes to illegal immigration, post 2020 and getting past this election cycle?
Absolutely. It's making sure we get that wall fully built. It's making sure interior enforcement becomes sustainable so it has the resources it needs, so that catch and release will end, so that we have the facilities we need. It's also making sure that we continue to strengthen our immigration ties and enforcement with Central American countries and with Mexico. So again, we interrupt the chain at every step of the way. So that when they get to the wall, that's when the last thing's preventing them, not the first thing. And we want to continue to build that prevention all the way down to countries of origin, and we're going to do that.
That's great. Adam Kennedy, appreciate you taking some time today to visit with us, and hopefully we can visit with you in the future.
That'd be great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. That's Adam Kennedy, Deputy Assistant to the President and Deputy Director of Communications here on the Chad Hasty Show in Washington, D.C.